Hurricane fans? Welcome back to the show. Got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's see. Will G is saying who's on commitment watch. We will get into that. We'll get into some recruiting, recapping the visits from this past weekend. Tropical storm didn't stop the visits from happening, which is awesome because we had 3 elite prospects visiting the U this past weekend, seeing campus, the facilities, all that stuff. Unfortunately, they probably couldn't see the entire city, get the full feel of it, but they saw it worst situation possible, which is a tropical storm / hurricane, and the recruits still had a blast. So that's a great sign. Heard a lot about, what they're planning on building for the new facilities. So you got all this recruiting momentum. And on top of that, $100 million facility that's coming. I'm pretty excited. Birdstone finally made it live again. Hey, yeah, it's been a while since I see you on the live chat, Birdstone. How's it been, man? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, guys, please hit that like button on your way in. Hit the subscribe button. Help me get to that next milestone, which would be that 2K. Got a lot of fun stuff planned over the next few months, over the off season, going into the season, and like I said, I would love to do something live from one of the tailgates, or at least record something. I think that would be a lot of fun. So we'll see what the next few weeks brings. Got some guests planned, so I think you guys will like it. Speaking of, wanted to give a shout out to my boys over at the Miami Flow channel. Another new show. I believe it's going to be on Monday nights. They premiered yesterday, called Average Canes Fans. I loved it. I thought they did a great job. It was their first one, which I know firsthand, these are not as easy as we may make them seem. There's, a lot that goes into it. And it was their first show, and they seemed like naturals. I'm talking about Lex and AO. Especially AO, man. I thought he did a great job. Not taking anything away from you, Lex. I know you're probably listening. You guys both did great. Would love to have both you guys on the show, as a matter of fact. So if you guys are ever free on a Tuesday, you got an open invitation from me. Would love to have both you guys on. We need some cafecito. I got some cafecito for you right here. Let me take a sip. Let me hydrate while you guys hit the like button. Yeah, throat's already drying up. All right. Work, mo, work, but I'm here. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that, Birdstone. That's, be grateful. Some people don't even have that, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's talk a little recruiting. So we had 3 elite prospects visit. You had, let me not butcher his name. You got the offensive lineman from Windsor, Connecticut, Olas Alinen. I think I got close. 4-star offensive lineman, ranked the number 122 player in the nation as an offensive tackle, 6'6", 315, fantastic size. This is the kind of guy Mario's looking for. And he's the number 1 recruit in the state of Connecticut, which has produced some excellent players, one being our quarterback, Tyler Van Dyke, and number 15 tackle in the nation. So that's a stud right there. And Will G asked earlier who's on commitment watch. I think that's a guy to watch for, because I think of the guys that, judging by what they were posting about, I think he seemed like he was the most excited. I think I read that his family visited from, I want to say Finland, I think is where his family is. And his parents and his sister, they flew down. He basically said, yeah, they're gonna try to, they're gonna fly down for any of his visits for wherever he plays. He's not worried about that. So they flew down. They got delayed because of the storm, but they all made it, and they had a great time in Miami, even with the rain and everything. So that's awesome. Tamari Robinson, 6'3", 210-pound edge rusher, 4-star recruit, and number 3 player in the state of Pennsylvania. So you got a stud there and position of need, in my opinion. And then, of course, you got Jaden Bonsu, who I've already talked about. He's got, so far of the guys that Miami's looking at, he's got one of my top 3 or 4 favorite tapes on Huddle right now. Jaden Bonsu is an absolute monster. He's 6'2", over 200 pounds, going into his senior year of high school. I mean, to me, I look at that size, and that is not a safety. That's an outside linebacker. That's like a striker. But maybe he does play safety. Maybe Mario is looking for that, for more of those James Williams types of safeties. But I would love to see that dude in the orange and green, man, because that right there is a cane. The way he hits, the way he plays defense, just puts his body on the line on every hit. That's a guy I need to have on this team. So Jaden Bonsu's become very quickly one of my personal favorites. Also posted great stuff about his visit. And for those of you guys Lex, what's going on, man? By the way, I don't know if you just joined, but I was talking about you and Ao's show last night. Average Canes fans loved it. What the stuff you guys were talking about, by the way, is the stuff I love talking about. It's what I was going for with my channel. I feel like you guys nailed it on episode 1, and it took me a while to get going. So great job by you guys. Again, would love to have both you guys on the show. I'm extending a personal invitation. So, whenever you guys are free on a Tuesday, you have open invite. But anyway, I want to get into one discussion they had about the Orange Bowl and Hard Rock Stadium, but in a little bit. Some people were a little concerned after one of my last videos about the recruiting. One fan in particular, I was chatting with him back and forth, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm a little concerned about the recruiting," and understandable. We don't have any big name commitments yet, aside from maybe Robbie Washington. You consider that a big name? I do. I think he's a very explosive talent. I think he's going to be a playmaker for us. I really think I still think we have nothing to worry about. I have not wavered on this, and here's why. This year is different from many other years, and it's an ever-changing thing, because I think with the NIL and everything, those big names are going to wait extra long. They're going to drag this out until the very end before they announce their commitment. Aside from maybe certain quarterbacks, because they want to get their NIL deals in quickly, and so where they're going to go. But the other guys, they're going to take their time and enjoy the process. That being said, if you look at the recruit rankings, I think teams like Texas Tech are up there. I think Northwestern and teams like that are in the top 10, top 5, and those are teams that are not going to finish with that kind of ranking. So the rankings are a little skewed right now. I think it's going to level out in the next couple of months. By about August, it's going to look a little more normal. But that being said, to put your mind at ease, this next month and a half is going to be huge for visits. And after those visits are done, especially Legends Camp and all that, I think we're going to start seeing these commitments start to roll in. We just saw a crystal ball prediction posted earlier today or yesterday for Ruben Bain. I mean, none of us Canes fans are shocked, but I would consider that a big name. And I think we get him relatively early. That's another guy that might be on commitment watch very soon. But give me 1 second. Let me share with you guys the upcoming visits, the upcoming, studs that are going to be visiting our campus. And I think this will put your mind a little more at ease, because sure, Manny reeled in some big fish. We got Leonard Taylor, James Williams on this team, Tyler Van Dyke. I mean, we got Manny to thank for a lot of that. He missed on quite a few as well. There were certain guys that should have been Canes that weren't. And you could say that about the Golden years and the Randy Shannon years. But yeah, I think once I show you this, it's going to put your guys' mind at ease. Let's see. All right. So if you actually go to the 247, like the guys that are going to, like the official visits, this isn't even including unofficial visits, guys that might decide to come last minute. If you look here, these are the guys that just visited. And then coming up next week, you got David Hicks, who's an absolute beast. I mean, we land him, it's a wrap on the defensive line. Imagine him next to Leonard Taylor. Sadir Mitchell, Antonio Tripp, who's already committed. You got some solid prospects down here. Connor Liu, who I think is an interesting prospect in the interior line. You got Kobe Young, Logan Howland. You got, of course, one of the two quarterbacks that I think we're going to take in this class is Emory Williams. It's going to be him and probably another bigger name. I'm personally excited about him because I love his tape. We've talked about him ad nauseum on our channels. And you got Darren Reed, big-time D-line prospect. John Walker, a huge D-line prospect. I would love to see us land him. Jaden Wayne, another guy that if we land, it's a wrap. Peyton Kirkland, same. Francis Mawiga, I mean, it doesn't get more blue chip than him. Madden Sanker. And if you notice, you're noticing a trend, trenches, right? Offensive and defensive line. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that name, but you got him coming. Jackson Howard, our top tight end prospect, if you want my opinion. Monroe Freeling, who I'm pretty confident about. I think he's going to be a Cane. I think we land Malik Bryant. And you got one of arguably the top safety prospect in Jonel Aguero. So there you go. You got the top of the top, blue chip of blue chips visiting over the next few weeks. They want Jackson Howard at D-line, actually. As long as he's here, wherever they think he fits, he's a freak athlete. Let me catch up with these comments. Ray. I think we're in a good spot for Ray. I think he's very interested in Miami. And right now he's committed to Clemson. I think the whole NIL thing works in our favor and works against Clemson. I've heard rumblings about Louisville also kicking the tires there. But, I think he ends up in this class. If you want my prediction, I think he ends up being one of the 4 or 5. I think we take 4 receivers. I think he ends up being one of them. I think Jaylen Brown ends up being one of them. Then you got Robbie Washington, and then the other one's a toss-up. Maybe it's Hakeem Williams. Maybe it's this kid from Dade Christian, William Foles. It could be any number of guys, but give me Ray and give me Jaylen Brown. I'm good. Let's see what else we got. I know, Birdstone. Sorry, I posted your comment and I forgot to comment on it. Speaking of QB, does it really hurt if we don't take a QB this cycle? I heard news that 2025 Colin Hurley might be reclassifying to 2024. That's a possibility. That's a position that I don't know if I would want a dude that young, because think about what that means. He would be playing. Could potentially be playing college football at the age of 17 if he does that. Reclassifying just basically means, hey, I'm going to skip a year. Or maybe his age is kind of on the borderline. Maybe he's 18 by the time the season starts. He's one of the oldest kids in his class. I know Mark Walton did that. But still, that's a position where I don't think I would want that. I don't want that much youth. I would almost want the kid to be a little bit older. But that being said, Colin Hurley, that's a kid that people have been looking at since he was in 8th grade, which was just like a couple of years ago. I know he and Ja'Cory Brown are boys. So, I think he took his official visit with Ja'Cory Brown last year or a year and a half ago. So, he's on track to be a Cane, but you don't want to look that far ahead and miss what's right in front of you. So I think you got to take at least one, because you never know. Maybe 3-star Emory Williams, we're all right about him, and he turns out to be the next Ken Dorsey. He's that polished, accurate game manager that can make all the throws that we need to lead this team once all these skill guys are sophomores and juniors and ready to take that next step. So does it hurt us terribly? No, because our room is very loaded. But as for the whole Colin Hurley thing, that's my feeling on that. I don't know if I would take a kid that's – if you do, you redshirt him. I think that would be too young to bring him in like that. Let's see. Hurley has a damn cannon. Oh, I know. Oh, here we go, Max. I spoke with him about reclassifying a year ago. He wasn't sure of it back then. He's been playing varsity since 8th grade and won a state championship. Holy crap. Jesus. Yeah, we're definitely taking at least one quarterback. Max isn't Marsh good friends with Hurley? Yeah, I'm. If yeah, I know certain, some of these guys, the YouTubers, they got connections with Hurley. Obviously, Max spoke with them. I would love to have the chance to speak to him one day. Obviously, if he's been playing varsity since 8th grade and won a state championship, I mean, that is a kid that's wise beyond his years. But still, that is a position that I don't know. Youth is you you got to have your head on straight. Obviously, he does. He's a special kid. Probably get him on your show for you. That would be awesome. We'll talk later, Max. That would actually be really cool. I want to start, getting more recruits and stuff on, some of the high school guys on the show to talk to them. That would be cool. Let's see. Ayo. That good name, John. Nickname coming today. I thought you were going to have a nickname ready for me, man. Come on. You let me down. Alex, how do you feel about Aguero? Love him. I saw some of his tape as well. I was very impressed. He doesn't quite have the size of Jaden Bonsu, but again, Jaden Bonsu, I think, is more of a linebacker striker kind of guy. Jonel Aguero is an absolute stud. We missed on Kamari this past cycle. He's a Florida Gator now. They got Corey Raymond, so is what it is. You're not going to win every recruiting battle, but I think this is our chance to redeem ourselves on missing Kamari. I think Jonel Aguero is that good, and I think the tape I saw was from his sophomore year, if I'm not mistaken. Kid's a beast. He's number 34 in the nation overall, number 2 at his position. Yeah, I love him. Love what I saw so far. I'm with y'all. Just wondering if it would hurt because you have Garcia up, then Jakari, then 2 years. You have at least 2 years with a starting QB. He'd be ready by 2026. True. Here's the thing. Here's another reason I think you take one every year. You never know what can happen. If you go out and land a 5-star kid, like let's say hypothetically, you get Moore, the kid that I can't think of his first name right now. The kid that just committed to Michigan, that I know our offensive coordinator has ties to. Let's say you land him, and maybe that scares somebody off from the QB room right now. Maybe you lose Jakari Brown, or maybe you lose, Jake Garcia. Yes, right now he's saying he's staying, and he loves competition, and I think that's awesome. Jake Garcia is also like 19 years old or 20 years old. You don't know how their life is going to change a year from now. You don't know the opportunities that are going to be thrown their way. So it's easy to be like, oh, we're good the next few years, but it's never. Yes, thank you, Max. That was my point. It's never a guarantee. You get a guy every class. It's kind of like in the NFL. I think you draft a quarterback every year. Even if it's in the 5th or 6th round, you get a guy. Because, in the NFL, you can trade. The Patriots did it for years. You get Jacoby Brissett in like whatever round they got him. That's a backup QB you can trade for picks or whatever. You always in college, you always get a guy. Because if, let's say, hypothetically, I'm picking on Garcia. I think he's going to be a stud, but let's say he's a bust. All right? Then you got a guy coming right behind him. You never know who's going to be great. Ayo. Ayo with the drum roll and the popcorn. So I think it's coming. I think the wheel is turning. Rob Roy says, where is Lamar Thomas? He's been MIA ever since Mario. Lamar Thomas, like just in general, like on Twitter and stuff. I don't know. I think that's a dude that there's been rumors forever that he's going to come be the wide receivers coach, that fans want him to come be the wide receivers coach. That Lamar Thomas is all Kane. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him. So my new nickname, according to AO, is Jock Jams John, Triple J for short. All right. All right, man. I like it. I like it. I don't hate it. Let's see how the rest of the fan base likes it on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. I got to look into that. But yeah, so that was my little piece on recruiting. Again, I know this is kind of the cop-out answer, but be patient, sit back, enjoy the process. Mario's going to put together a hell of a class. I have no doubt in my mind. And that's with all this working, all these things working in their against them, but against not working in their favor. Man, I really can't talk today. Because remember, he came in, he's just got this year. This offseason goes by very fast. It's not like how it used to be where essentially you get to know a player, build that relationship, and recruit them all in that junior year, going into their senior year. Now you start talking to them 8th grade freshman year. So you need 2-3 years to build that relationship. But you can make the argument, well, he was already doing that with, when he was at Oregon with some of these guys. True with some of them. Some were California, some were in his area, all over the country, but I think the big class, the top 5, top 3 classes will come 2024, 2025, and so on. But that being said, I think it's going to be an uphill climb. It's going to take work, but I think crystal ball, yes, Brother Jay. I think you took the words right out of my mouth. I think he gets it done. I think he brings in a top 10 class, probably like 7th or 8th, around there. Top 5 is like a different kind of elite group, but maybe he makes it. Maybe we beat Texas A&M, and that's enough to kind of get us over the top to land a couple more 5-star guys. Lamar's been MIAs before he was on YouTube all the time. All right. Triple cafecito shots with Triple J. Yes. Cheers to that. My throat is dry today. Let me hydrate real quick. Please hit the like button. All right. By the way, AO, did I hear right last night that I didn't know this, that you've never been to a game? We got to change that this year. I know you're an out of area fan. But yeah, well, we definitely got to change that. You got to attend a football. They play FSU at home this year. I'm just saying. Average Canes fan show much. Yeah, no, big shout out to them. That's actually, Lex corrected me. It was actually their 2nd episode, but still, 2nd episode. It looks like they've been doing it for a full year already. So on that subject, I know last night they were talking about, the difference between the Orange Bowl and Hard Rock Stadium. And yes, there's no comparison between the Orange Bowl and really any other sports atmosphere. And I've been to World Series games. I've been to what else I've been? I've been to NBA Finals games. I went to, Heat versus Spurs. I've been to, in the 90s, I saw the Miami Heat play the New York Knicks, and those were during the Zoe and Patrick Ewing days. That was probably the best basketball game I've ever been to, atmosphere-wise. It was insane. It was 2000 against the New York Knicks. I think it was Game 5. Dan Marley hit like 6 threes in the first half. But I digress. I've been to El Clásico. I've been to, when Real Madrid played Barcelona here in Miami in 2017. I was there. Amazing atmosphere. Nothing that I've experienced beats Miami versus Florida State. Both teams are top 10 in the Orange Bowl, not an empty seat in the house. Nothing beats that. Nothing comes close. So I agree with what you guys were saying about the Orange Bowl. It was an atmosphere that you cannot compare. For those younger Cane fans, because I started going to games in 2000, so I saw that early 2000s dominance, the greatest team of all time. But there was an era before that I unfortunately didn't get to see, at least live. I did not get to see the streak. So if some of, the older guys, the more seasoned veteran Cane fans that went to games in the 80s and 90s, if they can comment on what it was like in comparison to the early 2000s, what it was like during the streak. And for those who don't know, the streak went from 85 to 94. So essentially we went 10 years without losing a home game. And I look, I've seen the film. During those years, not only did we beat everybody at home, we played the number one team in the country, I think 6 times during that streak. And we not only beat them, we dominated every single one of them. And that's not including bowl games, because that's not included in the 58 in a row. I really want to hear from the older guys, like what that was like, because that must have been absolute insanity. I mean, you're driving to the stadium and it's literally like we're winning today. We're driving to go watch the Canes whoop somebody's ass. And it was a guarantee. The only game I think that might have been close, I know in 92 we beat Arizona like 8-7 or something. There was that one weird game. I remember we played South Carolina to lock in our spot in the championship game in 87. That was kind of a close game, but South Carolina was really good back then. But that was about it. Every game during that streak was just a complete butt whooping. But anyway, I digress from that. I have an opinion of Hard Rock Stadium that you guys might disagree with. I think it's actually a fantastic atmosphere. I love the atmosphere there. Better than the Orange Bowl? No. But I think if fans actually show up, Hard Rock Stadium, like we have 2 examples that you guys know the 2 games I'm about to mention. But those 2 games in 2017 showed me that the Miami atmosphere, when they decide to show up, when the team's been winning and they're about to play a big game, there's no atmosphere like that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter where we play. If a Miami team wins, the fans will show up and it's going to be loud as hell. All right. So the 2017 Virginia Tech game, the 2017 Notre Dame game, those 2 games was an atmosphere like no other. Lex mentioned it last night on their show that I think it was Herb Street that said, this is the loudest stadium I've ever been in. And I believe it. I remember how loud it was. My older brother was at the game and he was like, he's one of the old school fans. He went in the 80s and 90s to the Orange Bowl and he was like, bro, it was deafening. It was unlike anything I ever heard in the Orange Bowl, louder than any of those games. Maybe the roof that they put in has something to do with it. The sound bounces off better. I don't know. But the atmosphere at those 2 games was insane. So that whenever they come out with these rankings, these BS rankings that say, that rank us near the bottom as far as atmosphere. Yeah, because the fans don't go. They would rather sit at home. They would rather go to the beach. They would rather sit at home watching it. They would rather, go to a bar and watch it. There's plenty to do in Miami. Miami's just a different city. You gotta win to keep everybody's attention. You have to win. If you're not winning, they're not going to show up. Yes, Wisconsin has an amazing atmosphere. They sell out every single game. They do the jump around thing at the start of the 4th quarter. There's nothing else to do there. Tell me, what is there to do there? In any of these college towns, college football is the one thing to do. I hate New York and FS Pooh. Thank you, sir. Agreed. Love all our Miami Hurricanes. Yes, sir. So, yeah, I think Hard Rock we just have to start winning the games we're supposed to be winning. Little by little, you got to give it time, because what made the Orange Bowl magical at the end of the day was a winning, dominant football team. It was nothing else. Yes, the other things, the $10 no blocky, the kebabs that they sold from that stand outside the Orange Bowl, the hot dogs, the nasty bathrooms, all the tailgate spots, the neighborhood that it was in, all those things sprinkled in made it what it was. The intimacy of the Orange Bowl, the way it was built. There was no bad seat in that stadium. It was awesome. the way it rattled during a sold-out game. It was awesome. But what made it what it was, like 80 to 90% of it really was the team was dominating, and they were dominating with guys from our own backyard, from the crib, as they say, they were winning with guys that people in the stands knew them when they were kids, knew them from high school, saw them play in high school. They were local guys that the neighborhood knew. That's what made it so magical. And that's what they got to get back to. But it starts with winning football games. It starts with not being, actually being prepared against Virginia and not losing a Thursday night game to them. Maybe not missing that field goal. Being prepared against FSU and not laying an egg in that first half. We should have run away with that game. It's things like that. It's the way we were prepared and came out with energy against NC State is how we got to come out every home game. We do that, we'll win more. We'll keep developing. We'll keep bringing in new talent, and that's what will get it going. And in a few years' time, maybe Hard Rock Stadium or wherever we end up playing by then, you'll have that atmosphere where you don't have 25, 30,000 that go to every game. Now you have 45,000, 48,000 that go to every game, 50,000. That's how you build that loyalty. You gotta win. Alex, your opinion on the baseball team and their staff. I'll be quick on this one because I know not everyone here is a baseball fan. I can go off on a tangent, but very disappointing. I used to watch this team as a kid. They would host regionals every year. They would host super regionals every year. And if it was a year what they hosted, they rarely lost at home. If they lost and didn't make it to Omaha, it's usually because they had an off season and they didn't host that year. But if they were hosting, more often than not, they were winning. And they weren't winning. They weren't losing 2 in a row where they scored a combined 4 runs. That was never happening. Our thing was offense. We could hit. Maybe our pitching was a little off that day, but we could always hit. And the team's got plenty of talent. And next year should be the year just on talent alone. I think it's not – we're talking apples and oranges here. It's not the same as football or basketball where – I don't think player development and preparation, I think it's certainly prevalent in baseball, not as much as like the X's and O's in football and strategizing and stuff like that. Baseball at the end of the day is an individual sport masquerading as a team sport because you're taking turns at the plate trying to hit a ball over the fence. We got a lot of guys that can hit the ball over that fence, but there's situations where, hate to use them as an example, but the Florida Gators over the past decade, can't think of his name right now. I think he's the best coach in America because whenever we play them, even when the long ball's not there, it's kind of like the 3-pointer in basketball. Some nights it's there, some nights it's not. So you live by the home run, you die by the home run. That's what happened with us. You got to be able to generate runs with small ball, bunting, hit and runs, shortening up your swing and just putting the ball in play. We suck at that. That's situational hitting, and that is fundamentals. Obviously, maybe Damari's trying to teach it. I don't know, but it's not working. It's not sinking in. And we haven't had that on our team for, since 2005, 2006, the John Jay, Yonder Alonso years, like mid-2000s. And since then, it's been very inconsistent, very up and down. But that's my opinion. Honestly, unlike our ex-football coach, I genuinely like Gino Damari. I think he's a good guy. I like hearing him in interviews. I think he's a pretty genuine dude. And I think the team likes playing for him. But I don't think he's getting it done. I think they need to move on and they need to upgrade. That's my opinion. I think they need an upgraded head coach. But try to keep the rest of the staff together. I think J.D. Arteaga hopefully retires there, and he's one of the best pitching coaches in the game. Let's see. They better find some pitching. I thought they had solid pitching this year. They had, with what they had, I mean, they got a lot of youth, but I thought they had solid pitching. Defense has to improve a little bit, and situational hitting, that's the number one thing that has to improve. Absolutely. And I think that's fundamentals. I think that comes down to the head coach. Like, what are they doing in practice every day? Issue is team overperformed for their youth. Next is supposed to be our year. We got the number 2 in the country, and we weren't even supposed to be ranked. Yeah, we did get to number 2 in the country at one point. That's what I'm saying about baseball. Maybe he sticks around, and we're just so talented. I think talent can overcome poor coaching in baseball. I really do. But the small ball, the situational hitting is not there, and that kills you. A team like Florida, they can manufacture runs if the long ball's not there. That's what bothers me. But yeah, you got pretty much everybody coming back next year, which is the good news. He won't get fired this year, in my opinion. Next year is the money year. If not, he's gone. All right, I think that's fair. It doesn't get better than what he has coming back next year. So if he can at least get to Omaha and win a couple of games, make like a deep, deep run where we're like, man, we're legit title contenders this year. Because I didn't have that feeling this year. I thought they were missing something. I thought they were missing some experience, and we were right. I don't think anybody really thought we were going to make a run on a title. Next year, I feel we should. So we'll see. Would you consider TVD ginger? No, I think the dude's just blonde, man. He's just a blonde white kid. Who do you think the next commit will be and when? If I had to pick one, I think it's Olas. And if not him, it's somebody at that O-line position. I know this guy. What's up, Flo? So yeah, that was I did kind of go off on a tangent, but that's my 2 cents on the baseball team. As much as we all love to reminisce about the football team dominating, and we will get back to that very, very soon, now that the pieces are finally in place after years of complaining, I think they're going to put the right pieces in baseball soon, because the baseball team dominated just as much back in the day. And it sucks to see them have such a great regular season and kind of fall flat on their face. But yes, Max, you are right. Very young team. So let's see what they do next year. You know, you're probably right. Maybe he doesn't get let go. All right, so what else we got? Guys, please fire off some questions. Let's keep this going. So we talked recruiting. I think we're fine. We talked difference between Hard Rock and Orange Bowl. I wanted to piggyback on what these guys were talking about yesterday. Yeah, they were saying something's missing from the current atmosphere, and I agree. But the thing that's missing is winning. You start winning again consistently year after year. Problem solved. You have 45, 50,000 loyal fans coming to every single game instead of just like 30,000. And let's see. I know speaking of TBD, I wanted to get into that a little bit, because I know Sports Illustrated and ESPN came out with like their Heisman tiers and, you know, who they think have the best odds to win the Heisman. And I wasn't surprised by where they put TVD. In fact, I kind of agree with it. Right now they have TVD as like a tier 2 guy. I know Orange Bowl boys talked about it. That's kind of where I'm getting this subject from. They talk about TVD as being a tier 2 guy, as an up-and-comer, as ESPN called him. I would agree with that, because remember, he didn't even play a full season. But what he did with that full season was pretty phenomenal. He, in 6 consecutive games, threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. That kind of consistency we've only seen from, I think they mentioned 2 guys, Joe Burrow and Jameis Winston, I think are the 2 big names that, like, he's got pretty elite company in that regard. To do that for 6 consecutive games, win 5 of the 6, and should have won all 6. The one was the FSU game. But TVD, to me, I think is as legit as it comes. I understand the doubts about him because it was a small sample size. But what he did with that small sample size was as good as you could have hoped. Okay? Those first couple games, Flo said it himself. I want to see him get knocked to the ground and have to get back up, make adjustments, and bounce back from that. And he did. His first game was that Virginia game that we were not prepared for. But look at some of the throws he made in that game. Those were NFL throws. Some of the decision-making wasn't the best, but towards the end of the game, you saw him get into a rhythm. Then we decided to settle for a field goal for some reason, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. Had they let him keep driving and finish that game, keep getting the ball to Jalen Knighton, maybe find Mike Harley over the middle. If they keep letting him do his thing, we would have won that Virginia game, in my opinion, or at least had a better chance. The next game was the North Carolina game. Again, got off to a shaky start, had a couple of picks, but rallied, he fought, he scratched, he clawed, he made enough plays to get us in position to win that game. Coaching betrayed him. I blame the coaching 100% for that loss. That and missed tackles. But all you have to do was clock it at the end. We tried to run an RPO with the clock running down with 14 seconds left or something. Or I don't know how much time was left on the clock, but you have to clock it there. You have to stop the clock and give yourself a chance to win that game. Because at the very least, you stop the clock, you kick a field goal, you go to overtime. So, yeah. Tyler Van Dyke, to me, yes, very legitimate Heisman candidate. Where they rank him, I think, is fair. I think he's more of a dark horse candidate because really it's Bryce Young's award to lose. Even though he already won it, if they do what they should have done last year, go undefeated, win the national title, it's going to go to him. Or it's going to go to, C.J. Stroud at Ohio State because he did all that as a freshman last year as well, just like Bryce Young did. So he's got a lot to overcome to win that Heisman. Miami has to go above and beyond as far as, they can't be that 9-3 team that we're all kind of expecting. They got to go 11-1. I think they got to go 11-1 for Tyler Van Dyke to have a chance to win the Heisman. They probably have to win the ACC for TVD to have a legit shot. And really, that'll probably be his only shot because after this year, he's gone. He's going to the NFL, maybe to be a Dolphin. That would be great. I would love that if Tua doesn't get it done this year. But anyway, those are my thoughts on TBD. So yeah, guys, just wanted to be on for a little bit. Going to be a shorter show today, off season. You know how it is. But we got some good guests planned for the coming weeks. So hope you guys enjoy that. You got today's Tuesday, so you got Maxed Out later tonight. Stay tuned for that. Please jump in and hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. It's my own fault. I took a break, so it messed up the algorithm. I hit, bit of a plateau with the subscribes. Please, if you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. I want to try to get to that 2,000 and keep bringing good content for you guys. And as always, it's all about that you. I'll catch you guys next week, 7:30, same time, same channel. As always,